Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Create Yourself Imagery, Intimacy, Innovation, a place where people from all walks of life and various backgrounds come to share their transformative personal and professional stories of restoration, confidence, clarity, and empowerment. They are here to share helpful tools, resources, and affirming guidance. I'm Joyce Kiles, your global speaker, author, trainer, and coach. And if you're ready to transition, transform, and thrive, this is indeed the podcast for you. I am so excited about today's guest. You all, I feel like I am among royalty right now. I have been following Dr. Bellinger for some years now, and I can't even remember. I was trying to think of like exactly where I heard you speak. So I don't know if it was online because it was 2022, so I'm not sure, pandemic was maybe coming to a close at that time. So I'm not sure exactly where I heard you speak, but I heard you speak. And I knew after hearing you speak that I wanted to just stay connected to you. So we are LinkedIn friends. And after having our conversation prior to this interview, I feel like that we are friends, and certainly sisters in the space of wanting to see our sisters succeed in this, entrepreneurial space. So I'm just excited, you all. So I'm not even trying to hide it. I am excited to have Dr. Bellinger with us today. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit about her. Dr. Donna Smith Bellinger is the voice you call when your business conversations aren't converted into revenue. As a sales strategist, award-winning speaker, and author, she helps entrepreneurs and professionals simplify the sales process, strengthen their confidence, and communicate their value with clarity and purpose. She is an accomplished author. She is an award-winning speaker. In fact, she was just voted Speaker of the Year. I saw that earlier today, so congratulations on that. And without further ado, I'm going to present to some and introduce to others none other than the Dr. Donna Smith Bellinger. Welcome to the show today.
Hello, Joyce, and thank you so much for sharing your platform with me.
Thank you for being here. And, we're just going to jump right in because I love the work that you do. This month is actually Women's Small Business Month. And I just thought the perfect timing of having you on the show today to talk with our audience about what you do, how you got started, your why. In other words, just your create yourself journey. So at this time, I'm just going to yield the floor to you and allow you the opportunity to talk for the next few minutes with our listening audience to tell them all that makes you, you in this create yourself journey.
Okay, well, I've been in the business of sales and leadership for over 4 decades. I admit it. I started out as a homeless teenage mom. I had my first child right out of high school, and that was back in the day when this was simply not done. Um, and when my son was 6 weeks old, they threw me out of the house, told me no good man would ever want me, and I'd be working the streets in 6 months. And long story short, within 3 years, I had bootstrapped myself into being an assistant admissions director at a trade and technical school, and I was out earning my management father with the company credit card and the car and the whole 9 yards. This is because I have a friend who gave me this little statement, and I said, I love this statement. He said, "You took the stupid pill." I said, "What do you mean I took the stupid pill?" He said, "You were too stupid to know that you weren't supposed to be able to do that. So you did it anyway." I was like, all right, that. And he said he uses that in a lot of his presentations. Now I was like, yep, I get that. But here's a little point of clarification I want to give to your audience right now. It's Women's Small Business Month, but ladies, do you know that a small business is a business under $5 million? So you have a whole lot of company. Don't think just because you are deemed a small business that you are less than. That is not the case. So if that has been one of your self-imposed barriers that kept you from moving yourself to where you truly know your gifts should be taking you, then I want you to, take that stupid pill, do that little matrix thing, take the right pill and put yourself where you need to be. Because someone told you at some point in time or another that you had a gift, and you determined that you could monetize that gift. There are people who are willing to pay you for that gift. It doesn't matter how highbrow or humble your gift happens to be. I helped a first lady in a church to build her business. She started a nonprofit. She wanted to start it. She says, I don't really have any gifts. I don't really do anything. I'm a government worker, la, 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 la. I said, no, we got to put that stuff in the background. So one of the people who was in the group that we were speaking in says, but mother, you make the best cookies. And I said, okay, well, number one, where's my cookie? Because you didn't bring me any. And number two, how are you currently selling these cookies? And she was like, oh, they're on a plate in the church, la, la. No, 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 no. So only the kids can buy single cookies. The adults have to buy a dozen, and we're going to create gift baskets. Long story short, we were able to move her from selling in the church to a catering business, using that money to start the 501c3 that she wanted to create, and now she is coaching. It doesn't matter how humble your beginnings are. What you have to focus on is the goal. Where do you want to be? And so let's just think about that real quick. Where do you want to be in the next 2 years? We're going to keep it simple. 2 years from now, where do you want to be? Some of you want to never, ever be hung up in the economy that we have right now, where you thought you had it going and you had a job. Now, all of a sudden, you don't have a job. And guess what? If you didn't take care of yourself in that job, if all of your benefits are tied to the job, if you don't own your own insurance policies, if you don't, if you haven't tried to move from renter to owner, you just gave control of your livelihood and your ability to care for the people who depend on you to someone else. All it took was for me to lose one job to determine that I was never going to let anyone determine how I could take care of my family. So I always have a plan B. I always have a little side something. And it did not matter how much money I was making at the time, because I knew that it could go poof at the whim of someone else. Also, when you think about your job, and I call jobs a paid internship, the whole point of having a job is for you to get the skills that you need to create your next. That's the whole point. It's just to create your next. So anytime you walk into an assignment, a project, an employment situation, you craft your exit strategy so that you know when enough is enough and what your next step is going to be. So you can tell I didn't choose sales. Sales chose me. And I learned that sales is my natural language. I didn't really know that. I sold magazine subscriptions over the phone when I was in high school. I just thought it was fun. I probably am a closet actress. I would take on the persona that I needed to be able to, do whatever it is I needed to do. Hi, may I speak to the lady of the house? Oh, I'm sorry, I disturbed you cooking dinner. I bet you could use a new recipe. Do you know that Good Housekeeping is doing blah, blah, blah? That was me. And if it was a guy, then I would lower my voice and be a little bit more, well, what are you really interested in? Oh, you're a hunter.
I
Oh,
love
well,
it.
guess
I love
what?
it.
I was all of 16, but it was a game to me. And the game was get them to yes and have them think it's their idea. That was the game. And that's, all sales is service. I have so many people who cringe when I say the word sales. And one of the people I worked with said, I was like, you didn't come to the last, webinar. She goes, yeah, but it was about sales, and I hate sales. I'm like, but do you hate money? Do you like to get paid? Yes. All right. So I have two books that I did years ago. Well, one's recent, one's a few years ago. The first one was so many people were coming up to me and saying, Donna, how come when you walk into an event, everybody wants to meet you? How do you know all of these people? And I'd laugh and say, honey, I don't know these people at all. I don't know these folks. I came in on somebody else's arm or whatever. But they were asking me these questions repeatedly. So I created the book, You Lost Me at Hello, Actionable Principles That Move You Beyond Networking. And that was to help you get over the fear of discussing your value and creating conversations that made you memorable. Most of us get a lot of our business through referrals and through networking. But if you are not memorable, then they may remember what your product is, but if they can't remember who was attached to that discussion, they're going to give the money to the next person who does something similar.
Mhm.
Because they were like, yeah, I needed to do that, but I can't remember who it was I talked about. Oh, but you do the same thing? Yeah, okay, good enough. And the most recent book that I did, based on some of the work that I've been doing with my clients, is called Sales is Not About Wait and See. Do you want to get paid now or eventually?
I love that
And
title.
well, I came up with that because I would talk to individuals and I'd go, how did that sales call go? How did that meeting go? How was the event? And the first words, I want you all to tell the truth to yourself. You don't have to tell us. But how many times have you responded with these words? I'm waiting for.
Mm, that's
How was
good.
the meeting? I'm waiting for. How was the phone call? I'm waiting for. No, car note's not waiting, mortgage isn't waiting, kids' tuition isn't waiting, those new shoes, somebody's gonna buy them if you don't. So you must learn how to control the conversations and make yourself memorable so that people will reach back out to you. So what do? I help entrepreneurs and professional service leaders who are leaving money on the table, and I work in private coaching consulting, and I'm a fractional sales manager, which means I come in for business owners and help them tighten up their sales teams or support their sales leadership. I did that for many corporations. I've been doing it for decades, and that's it. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
And what a powerful, powerful story it is. See, this is why I was so giddy and so excited about having you come on. And I know that my listening audience is feeling the same way. So many gems, so many things that you shared that I could talk about. And I just want to go back to the very beginning of the conversation because one of the things that you mentioned was being a mom, coming out of high school and how you were able to transition that life into knowing and understanding and operating in your purpose, in your calling, and doing it in 3 years. See, one of the things that I really strive to make sure that people understand in this space of imagery, intimacy, and innovation is that they are clear that you can be successful at any age, that you don't have to wait. You can create the life that you desire and deserve. And you did that at an early age. So just transitioning from that point to all of the wonderful things that you are doing now, the books you've written, the places and spaces that you are in, that you are thriving in, and calling people to the carpet too and holding them accountable. I love the fact that you talked about sales being service. And a lot of us, I'm gonna put me out there, and because people that know me and follow me know I am transparent. And so I am one of those people that cringe about the sales just because of the word, and we get intimidated by that word. But I love the way that you framed it up. We're not, we've got bills that we have to pay. We have things that we want to do. and the money is attached to that. The finances are attached to that. We have to go after it. We have to get after it. The fact that you lifted up what small business actually is, I think that is so important and key for the listening audience to take in, because I think sometimes when we look at our business, we think small, we consider it small until we think about what small actually is in terms of revenue stream. And if you look at it from that perspective, there are a lot of small businesses. Small does not mean that you are not great, that you are not worthy, that you are not capable. So you help people with implementing the strategies that they need. And from all that I have gathered from you, I've learned that it starts with a mindset to know and believe that you can. And once that mindset is established and clear, I mean, you're off to the races. I truly believe you can be unstoppable. So I appreciate all that you have shared. I do want to switch gears just a bit and ask you, though, about things that you have found with working with us women, and I'm true with men. I know that you work with men too, but I'm speaking directly about the women at this point in venture. Things that you have found disheartening, things that you have found gratifying, that you wish, we would pay more attention to and think about when we are thinking about being business owners.
The first thing that you said mindset, and I want to touch on mindset very, very quickly. Now, you need to make the distinction. Is this going to be a true business or is this a side hustle? Because if you are so involved in the minutia, if you are giving reasons why you can't delegate, why you can't scale, why you can't make things happen, then all this is going to turn out to be for you is a job that you own. That's it. It's just going to be a job that you own. And being busy and being profitable are two different things. You can hire an excellent virtual assistant for as little as $10 an hour, you know. Um, and here, I'll give you a recent example. I had to create a document for a proposal that I was, well, no, a scope of work, because I hate proposals. And I'll tell you all real quick why I don't like proposals, because there's a tendency to give all of your intellectual property to convince them how smart you are. They don't get that. They pay you for that. You keep that. So basically what you're talking about is the scope of work, the time frame, the stakeholders, and the deliverables. That's it. But I wrote this out and I looked at it. I said, this needs to be pretty. It needs to be this. It needs to be that. I can spend an entire day putzing around in it because I abhor administrative work. Or I called someone I knew who was an executive virtual assistant. And I said, can you just do this for me? And within an hour, I got it back along with an invoice for $20. Okay. I see the look on your face, Joy. Yeah,
Yes, yes, the audience can't see my face, but you can.
I
Oh my
can.
goodness.
Yeah.
$20.
And I had my day to reach out and contact other prospects and service clients and all that other stuff. $20. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. You must make the determination on how you are going to run these things. Second thing, relationships do not equal revenue. Relationships do not equal revenue. And when I'm saying that, I don't mean you don't build relationships within your business. What I am saying is, I love, those of you who are Greek and you've got your sorors and the other people and you've got your people who are with you in church and you've got, your girlfriends and you want to be like diehard loyal to them. That's nice. That's a relationship. If they are not buying from you, if they are not referring business to you, then that is not going to translate to revenue. That is social. There's a difference. Okay, so know who your social contacts are, then know the business relationships that you need to cultivate. Social relationships do not necessarily equal revenue. Business relationships lead to revenue. Next, when you are having these conversations, please don't try to be the smartest person in the room. Because if you're the smartest person in the room, you need a new room. Because you're not going to learn, you're not going to grow, you're not going to scale. It's so very, very important that you are getting into the correct mindset, that you are getting into the correct relationships, that you are owning your time, and that your mindset is totally focused on your desired outcome. That's what's most important. What is your desired outcome? When I had a conversation with a person not too long ago, and I said, again, like you heard me say near the top, where do you want to be in 2 years? Where do you want to be in 5 years? What is your idea of success in your business? And they said, well, what I'm really looking for is to get my kids through college, make sure my parents are taken care of, pay off my house, and do some other things. I'm like, great, those are deliverables. What do we have to create in order to get to each of these steps? Don't let other people occupy space in your head. It is your desired outcome that matters. Nobody ever killed themselves to make somebody else's dream come true. Not intentionally, anyway. You don't do that. So they don't get to have that headspace. They're not renting that. They're not paying you for that. If you have a bad experience at work, a bad experience with a prospect, or even you have a misstep in delivering your service, I call that lesson learned, tuition paid. And what I want you to consider is this. We've all heard the expression, draw a line in the sand. I tell all of my people, you draw that line behind you. You don't place a barrier in front of you.
Oh, that's good. Can you say that again?
Sure, you draw the line behind you. Remember, I just said lesson learned, tuition paid. That's all that stuff back there. You can't go back and change it. All you can do is learn from the experience and keep pushing forward. So when you talk about me doing what I did in 3 years, it was because whatever they said, and I was working in technology and education, and in those decades, women of color and women in general were not in those spaces. Every time I heard something that could have been construed as hurtful, insulting, demeaning, on and on and on and on, I dealt with this phrase: perception equals their reality. Perception equals reality. So I needed to change their perception of me. So if I came in powerful, if I came in delivering high value, regardless of my gender and my color, and at that time, my age, I was very young, it was just my way of getting them to overlook, ignore whatever these other things were, because I learned if you make people enough money, they overlook anything.
All right.
So
Uh,
the thing that I want to leave the audience with is don't wait for permission to step into your power. Your confidence is your currency. One of the other things that I tell my people all the time is you must learn how to consistently communicate your competence, your value. Consistently communicate your competence. And then that way you don't have to chase opportunity. You're showing them what you can do. And they're going to find you. You turn from the hunter to the hunted.
oh, I love that. I love that. I told you all she was going to share gems, 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 gems. Thank you so much for your time, your talent, your gifts. As we are winding down our time together, I want to find out from you if you have any events, any products, anything at all that you have coming up that we can support you.
Absolutely. I am doing a very quick 90-day program. And don't do a lot for individuals anymore. I focus more on businesses, but I don't like to leave people behind. And I also don't want them to, no offense to other people who are doing this kind of work, but the bottom line is you needed to get paid a year ago. You don't need to get paid a year from now. So I don't put people in a 12-month program where month one we do this and month two. You got questions and burning things happening now. So the program I've put together, and we're going to be starting it in November, is the fourth quarter push and the first quarter plan. The fourth quarter push and the first quarter plan. If your people are interested in that, they just need to go to my website and schedule a call with me. My website is www.askdsb.com, Ask DSB. My clients gave me that one. They were like, well, what do we do when we get stuck? We ask DSB. I'm like, okay, fine. So do that or connect with me on LinkedIn. I will have a 20-minute phone call with any of your people, virtual coffee, and they can bring me their burning sales question or business question. And I'm more than happy to support them through that.
Wonderful. I will be calling you as well. Definitely going to follow up with you, Dr. Bellinger. Thank you so much for your time, your talents, your gifts, for walking in your purpose, for not leaving anyone behind. You are just such a gift and a treasure, and we are thankful and appreciative that you took time out of your very busy schedule to be with us today. So thank you so much.
Thanks, Joyce. I really appreciated the opportunity to share.
And to you, my listening audience, thank you so much for tuning in. And if you clicked on this profile today, then you will see all of the information about how to connect with Dr. Bellinger. You see her bio underneath the picture. So if you've tuned into the podcast, you have all of her contact information. And I thank you for showing up for me because I could not do this podcast without you. So as we wind our time down for today, let's go forth and continue to create the life that we desire and deserve. And remember that we can do so at any age. Let's continue to transition, transform, and thrive together.